Grandma discovers a hidden family heirloom on a Waitress. This life-changing moment will inspire you. In the heart of Willow Creek, Grandma June's life hung in the balance like a delicate tapestry woven from the threads of laughter, family gatherings, and whispers of loss. At 73, each day felt like a chapter from a fading book filled with beloved memories and a bitter silence since she lost her husband. Sipping her coffee at the crumbling diner known for its heartwarming atmosphere, June felt the bittersweet weight of nostalgia press upon her chest, the walls echoing the laughter of her former classroom and the warmth of countless gatherings now lost. On this particularly golden afternoon, with sunlight streaming through the diner's greasy windows, a young waitress named Mia caught June's eye. Mia was barely holding her own, expertly balancing a stack of plates while wearing a determined smile, though her eyes betrayed a deep-rooted exhaustion. Single and a mother to a spirited 5-year-old, she danced through the diner as if the music played only for her, chasing her dreams amid the daily grind. But it was the glimmer of a necklace around her neck that truly captivated Grandma June, a family heirloom rumored to have vanished from her husband's lineage. It shimmered like a forgotten treasure, igniting a spark of recognition that sent a shiver down June's spine. As June observed Mia work tirelessly to support her small family, her heart ached with empathy. They traded more than just pleasantries over breakfast specials, they shared stories, laughter, and a raw understanding of struggle. Mia spoke of her desire to return to school, a dream nearly smothered under the weight of bills and responsibilities. In return, June found solace in recounting tales of her late husband, revealing to Mia the heirloom that had sparked family squabbles and left her children fixated on a monetary value rather than its emotional significance. A storm brewed on the horizon as fate took an ugly turn. The diner faced an unexpected financial crisis, its very existence on shaky ground, just as her children pushed harder for her to sell the treasured heirloom. Tension grew within the family, and Grandma June felt the pain of a tug-of-war, loyalty pinned against the possibility of helping Mia rise above her circumstances. The community surrounding them seemed to drift apart like autumn leaves caught in the wind. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As Grandma June and Mia delved into the history behind the necklace, a shared purpose formed, igniting hope in June's heart. The moment of reckoning approached, and she knew a confrontation with her family was inevitable. Torn between the bonds of blood and the chance to uplift someone she'd hardly known, June stood at a crossroads. Should she fight for her family's regard or embrace the opportunity to change the life of a young mother? Empowered by our choices' weight, she realized what was at stake, not merely an heirloom or financial survival, but the essence of family itself. As tension bubbled and dreams clanged like a discordant tune, Grandma June felt an urgency swell within her. Standing on the brink of the unknown, she was ready to make a choice as profound as it was painful. But what path would she tread when faced with the battleground of love and sacrifice? The air was electric, and the future awaited her decision, holding its breath as June prepared to leap into the next chapter of her life. Grandma June sat in a small booth, the familiar formica surface cold under her fingertips. The clamor of the diner felt louder today, each laugh and clinking dish amplifying her sense of urgency. Her coffee, now lukewarm, barely registered as she watched Mia bustle about, her cheerful banter lacing through the din like a melody. But beneath the surface of that cheer, June sensed the weight of the world resting heavily on the young waitress's shoulders. Mia was no stranger to struggle. Every time she wiped her brow after serving a particularly busy table, a flicker of determination crossed her face, grounded by a deep worry for her daughter. June could see it all, the sleepless nights spent balancing work, bills, and the dream of a brighter future. She thought about how Mia had shared fragments of her life over plates of pancakes, her voice laced with hope even when the reality seemed dim. In Mia, June saw a reflection of her younger self, a single mother who wrestled with dreams on the edge of despair. "Grandma June?" Mia called, interrupting June's reverie. "Ready for more coffee?" The warmth in her voice shimmered under the harsh diner lights. June smiled, the corners of her mouth lifting, but her heart felt heavy. Yes, dear. Thank you. As Mia poured the coffee, June made a decision. She had to speak about the necklace. Her thoughts tangled in a whirlpool of memories, guilt, and fierce protectiveness over that heirloom. It wasn't about the necklace itself, it was about legacy, family, and the bittersweet passage of time. Mia, she began, her voice trembling slightly as she searched for the right words. Have you ever thought about what a family heirloom means? It's not just an object, it tells a story. It carries with it love, loss, and dreams. Mia paused, catching the hint of gravity in June's tone. I suppose I haven't given it much thought. It's just something pretty, she admitted, fiddling with the necklace around her neck. No, dear. It's much more than that. June leaned in, her heart racing. My husband had this necklace in our family for generations. It was a symbol of hope during tough times. She hesitated, gauging Mia's reaction. I believe it found its way to you for a reason. Mia's eyes widened, a mixture of surprise and disbelief flickering across her face. What do you mean? June felt the air grow thick around them, her heart pounding at the prospect of sharing something so intimate and precious. If only she could find the right words to bridge their lives across the generational divide. If I were to give you this necklace, it would not just be a favor, it would mean passing on the legacy, a bond formed through trust and friendship, June said, her voice trembling with conviction. But it also means I have to confront my own family about its value. They want to sell it to keep the diner afloat, but I believe it can do more good in your hands than locked away for debts. Mia's face fell, confusion clouding her features. You'd really do that for me? But June couldn't answer just yet. A wave of anxiety washed over her at the thought of her family's reaction. They would never understand. Would they see the value in a hard-s whispered promise over cold, hard cash? As the clock ticked on, tension coiled around June like a tightly wound spring. She had a decision to make. Would she hold tight to her family's legacy, or would she let it go, trusting Mia to weave it into a new story? The diner's door swung open, allowing a gust of cold air to sweep through, and in that moment, June felt hope and fear collide. She realized she stood on the precipice of change. Mia's gaze met hers, full of uncertainty and a hint of desire for a brighter future. What now? June inhaled deeply, finding clarity amid the chaos. The future felt alive and fragile all at once, and she knew whatever she chose would shape not just her own life, but Mia's too. We take that leap together. With that, June felt the fragile threads of possibility renewing in her chest, intertwining their fates in a way she hadn't anticipated. What awaited them next would change everything. But as she looked into Mia's eyes, a question loomed. Could she truly gather the strength to face her family and challenge them for the sake of a dream? The moments after June's declaration hung heavy in the air, charged with a mix of hope and uncertainty. Mia remained silent for a heartbeat, reflecting on the weight of June's words. Her eyes searched June's face, looking for reassurance. What do you mean, take the leap? Mia finally asked, her voice barely above a whisper. June leaned back in her seat, her mind racing. It was more than just a decision about the necklace. It was about the faith she was willing to extend, the leap into the unknown that could either strengthen or break them both. Sometimes, she began, choosing her words carefully, the greatest risks lead to the most beautiful rewards. If I give you this necklace, it means I trust you that you'll honor what it represents. Mia fidgeted with the clasp of her own necklace, her brow creased with thought. But what if it hurts you? What if they don't understand? June felt a pang in her chest. She had built a life around keeping the family legacy intact, yet in this moment, it felt almost suffocating. It might, she admitted. But I can't let fear dictate my choices any longer. You deserve a chance at a better life, and so do I. Mia's expression shifted, hope flickering in her eyes. I don't want to take anything from you unless you truly want me to have it. June reached across the table, placing her hand over Mia's, grounding them both. You already have it. Trust is the first step, dear. Together, we can redefine what family means. At that instant, the diner's familiar chaos faded momentarily, as if the world outside had paused just for them. A few customers, almost oblivious to the bond forming at the booth, laughed and exchanged stories, reminding June of the importance of community and shared struggles. Mia's smile grew as she squeezed June's hand lightly. "I'll do my best to honor it, I promise." The door swung open again, startling them both as a figure stepped inside, a broad-shouldered man, dressed in a tattered jacket that seemed too big for his frame. June instantly recognized him. It was her son, Carl. His face was lined with worry, eyes darting around the diner as if searching for someone. The moment felt surreal, like a scene out of a movie that was about to shift from hope to chaos. "Mom!" Carl called out, his voice rising above the diner's sounds. June's stomach churned. Carl hadn't been here in weeks, usually avoiding family discussions about the diner. What could he want now? "Hey," she said, forcing a smile as he approached their booth. "What's wrong?" His gaze shifted from June to Mia, a flash of recognition crossing his face. "I need to talk to you. It's about the necklace and the diner." A cold wave washed over June. It was as if her worst fears were materializing right in front of her. "Now?" "Yes, now," Carl insisted, urgency lacing his tone. "It can't wait any longer." Mia's hand slipped away from June's as Carl's tension seeped into the air, filling the space between them. June took a breath, her heart racing again. This was at the moment of truth she had been fearing yet expecting. "Okay, let us talk," June said, her resolve hardening as she turned to face her son. But as they spoke, June couldn't shake the feeling that everything was about to change, like the fragile threads of their fate were ready to unravel at any moment. "Mom, if we don't act now, we'll lose everything." In that moment, June understood a decision loomed, one that could determine not only her future but Mia's as well. The necklace, the diner, their dreams, all swirling together in a dangerously beautiful mix. What Carl revealed next could alter everything. As they prepared to confront this family crisis, June's heart thumped in her chest. Would it be too late for their dreams? The tension at the booth hung thick and heavy, like storm clouds ready to burst. June braced herself as Carl leaned closer, his voice a strained whisper. "Mom, the diner, it's in danger. There are rumors. If we don't act before the end of the month, the whole thing could be sold right from under us." June's heart sank. "What do you mean, sold? Was there a deal made without me?" Carl's face flushed with frustration. "I didn't know how to tell you. The bank is tightening its grip. They didn't receive the last payment on time, and they might foreclose." Mia sat between them, shifting uncomfortably as she absorbed the weight of Carl's words. She looked back at June, her expression a mix of concern and fear. The necklace and its promise of trust suddenly felt distant against the urgent reality crashing down on them. "Why didn't you come to me sooner?" June felt anger bubble within her, yet it was laced with fear. Her whole life had been tied to this diner. Her mother's legacy. The last remaining link to her family's history. "I thought I could handle it," Carl admitted, his voice breaking. "But now I don't know what to do. I can't lose this place, Mom. I can't." June's fingers drummed against the table, images of the diner's vibrant history flooding her mind, the laughter, the tears, the sense of community. This was more than a business, it was family. "We have to act quickly. What are our options?" Carl hesitated, glancing toward the other diner patrons, before leaning in closer. "We could try to get a loan, but it's risky. The bank won't be easy on us. They might see my late payments as a sign of irresponsibility." June's mind reeled. Risk versus security. The certainty of losing everything versus reaching out for help that might not be there. And then there was Mia. She glanced at her, feeling the weight of the moment hang between them. "I can help," Mia said suddenly, her voice firm, yet soft. "I know this diner means a lot to you, both of you. If there is something I can do, fundraising, anything, just say the word." June was taken aback. How could Mia, a waitress with her own troubles, possibly assist them? Mia, this is a lot to put on you. You don't have to, but I want to, Mia interjected, her eyes wide with determination. You trust me with the necklace. Let me be part of this. Let me prove it. The sincerity in her eyes pierced through June's anxiety, igniting a flicker of hope. Could this be the first step they needed? A collaboration that might just save them all? Suddenly, Carl leaned back, running a hand through his hair. What if we come up with a plan together? Something we all agree on. We could pool resources, contacts. Maybe even put on an event to attract attention. June felt an unexpected rush of gratitude. The idea stirred something within her, a tether to a future they could build together. Okay, she said, the fire of determination igniting in her. Let us do it. But we must act fast. Whatever it takes, we can't let the diner slip away. The air between them shifted, blending urgency with a hint of newfound strength. It felt like they were on the edge of a great adventure. But beneath the hope, an uneasy thought lingered: could they really hold on to what mattered most? Outside, the sun dipped lower on the horizon, casting a warm glow through the diner's windows as they began to brainstorm. The shadows of their fears loomed large, yet at that moment, they stood firm together. What came next would demand courage, resilience, and perhaps a sacrifice no one anticipated. June leaned over the table, her voice low and steady. All right, let us break it down. If we're going to save the diner, we need a solid plan, and we need to pull together our strengths. Carl nodded, a spark of hope igniting in his eyes. They had faced tough times before, but this felt different. The stakes were higher. We need to dig into our community. Everyone in town knows this diner. They have memories tied here, just like we do. What if we held a fundraiser? Mia's face lit up. I can talk to some of the regulars. Maybe they'll donate raffle prizes or food for an event. We could turn it into a festival. People love that kind of stuff. June could see their enthusiasm building, the gears in their minds beginning to turn. That essay start. We could host it in 2 weeks. It won't give us much time, but we can't waste a minute. Carl sat taller, already planning. Mia, you might even have ideas for live entertainment. What if we set up a stage out front? We could invite local musicians. Everyone loves a good show. Mia's excitement was infectious. I know a couple of bands that would jump at the chance to help out. They'd love to support the diner. June smiled, feeling warmth spread through her. The diner had always been a hub for local talent and friendship, and maybe they could recapture that spirit. Great thoughts. I'll reach out to local businesses for sponsorships. Every bit helps. As ideas flowed, they wrote down plans on napkins, food trucks, a bake sale, a pie-eating contest. It felt alive and vibrant, like the old days when the diner buzzed with laughter and chatter. June's heart swelled at the thought. But just as they started to sparkle with possibilities, Carl's expression turned serious again. What if it's not enough? What if the bank still sees us as a risk? We won't let them see us as anything less than united, June replied, allowing her determination to saturate the air. That's why we need our community behind us. This isn't just about saving a diner. It's about bridging the ties that hold us together. Mia clasped her hands, her bright eyes softening. This place has seen struggles, laughter, and stories. We can remind everyone why it matters. Let our memories fuel this fight. And at that moment, something shifted in June. It wasn't just about her and her family anymore. It was about everyone who had stepped through those doors and shared in its warmth. All right, June concluded, determination setting in her voice. We'll give it our all. If we have to dig deep, then we will. We have to believe their essay way. As they finalized their plans, determination filled the diner, the tension turning into an electric energy. The shadows of fear were still lurking, but they would fight with every ounce of strength they had. But as the sun started to set outside, casting long shadows through the diner, June couldn't shake the feeling that secrets lurked beneath these walls. What if, amidst the chaos, something unexpected emerged, something that could change everything? Just then, a familiar face stepped through the door, and with it, a heavy silence fell over the booth. An old friend of June's mother, known for her uncanny ability to predict fortunes with her homemade charms, locked eyes with June, a knowing smile tugging at her lips. "Seems like your legacy needs a little magic," she said softly, her eyes gleaming with something unspoken. June's heart raced. What could she possibly mean? Was there a truth hidden within the diner's walls they hadn't uncovered yet? June blinked, trying to comprehend the woman's words. The air felt thick with unspoken energy. She could sense something significant was about to unfold. "Magic, you say?" June asked, her voice laced with a mix of skepticism and intrigue. This woman had always held a peculiar sway over the townsfolk, but to June, it sounded like just another ploy. Still, the idea of a bit of magic in a time of need was too tempting to ignore. "More than just magic, dear." The woman's voice was soothing, as if she were peeling back layers of time. "There are truths buried here that could help you. I've felt it for years, even when I only visited with your mother." A heavy silence blanketed the table. Carl and Mia exchanged unsure glances, sensing the weight of the moment but unsure of its significance. "We've got a fundraiser to plan," Carl said, trying to steer the conversation back to the task at hand, even as curiosity kept him rooted in place. "What do you mean by truths?" The woman stepped closer, a shimmering pendant around her neck catching the light. "There's an heirloom. A charm of sorts that belonged to your grandmother. It's said to carry good fortune. You found it in the diner, didn't you, June?" The mention of her grandmother sent a jolt through June. She had grown up hearing stories of the lady who ran the diner before her, a woman who believed in the power of community. June struggled to connect the dots. "No, I haven't seen anything like that," she replied, her mind racing. But now, she couldn't shake it off. What if there was something hidden, something passed down but lost among the knickknacks and clutter of the diner? "You've seen it, June. It might be under the old counter or in the attic." "Secrets demand a little digging," the woman urged, her eyes tightening with importance. "Find it. It could turn your luck and reinvigorate what this diner needs to survive." June felt something inside her shift. The panic used to grip her heart began to ease. Maybe they needed to look into more than just community support. This could be the hidden piece of the puzzle they hadn't considered before. What if it's just a myth? Mia said softly, her uncertainty hanging in the air. "Can charms really change our fortune?" "That's the thing about belief, dear. It's powerful. But you have to be open to finding what was lost," the woman replied, her voice clear and resonant with newfound determination. June stood straighter. "I'll look for it. We have to explore every avenue if we're going to save this place," she declared, excitement bubbling within her like the fizz of soda in a glass. Carl nodded vigorously, and Mia clapped her hands, excitement flashing across her face. "I'll help. We'll search every nook and cranny of this diner." June smiled, feeling a flicker of hope ignite in her heart. "All right, let us not waste any time. We'll start right after the fundraiser plans are in place." The old woman watched them, a soft smile on her lips. "Trust your instincts, dear. Sometimes, the answers hide in plain sight." As she turned to leave, a strange weight settled on June's shoulders. The diner was more than just a building, it was wrapped in memories and steeped in history. Each brick, each table held stories of laughter and struggle. With her determination evident, June felt ready to unearth whatever lay beneath the surface. This moment felt like a pivotal turning point. Armed with the idea of magic intertwined with familial history, June couldn't wait to discover what lay ahead. But deep down, a thought lingered. If there were hidden treasures to uncover, what other surprises awaited? What if digging up memories unearthed darker shadows? As she stared out at the sunset beyond the diner, she couldn't shake the feeling that some legacies were better left undisturbed. What would she find, and would the truth bring the community together, or tear them apart? The soft hum of the diner was comforting as June and her friends settled back into their usual routine. The fundraiser was still fresh in their minds, but the woman's words hovered like a curtain just out of reach. June felt that spark again, the kind that ignited deep within her soul a feeling that a part of her family's story was waiting to be told. They spent the next few hours planning the fundraiser, jotting down notes and ideas. But as the laughter and chatter filled the space, June's mind drifted. The thought of the heirloom consumed her. She found herself stealing glances at the corner booth where her grandmother used to sit. The faded upholstery held the trace of stories untold. Once the planning was wrapped up, Mia turned to June with renewed energy. "Okay, so where do we start looking?" "Let's check the attic first," June said, her heart racing. That's the part of the diner we've never really explored." "Sounds like a plan." "I've always wanted to know what was up there," Carl replied, eyes alight with adventure. They snagged a flashlight from behind the counter, cracked jokes about dust bunnies, and climbed the narrow staircase leading to the attic. The creaking wood was like a reminder of the history that swirled around them. Each step made June's heart beat a little faster. The attic was dim and filled with shadows, but it also held a promise. As June flicked on the flashlight, a beam of light cut through the suspended dust. Old furniture, boxes stacked high, even faded photographs of the diner in its early days, everything felt like a treasure waiting to be rediscovered. "We'll just pull everything out and see what we have," Mia suggested, determination clear in her voice. They began combing through the stacks, clearing away years of neglect layer by layer. As they poked and prodded through the mounds of forgotten items, an old wooden box caught June's eye. The wood was worn and engraved with delicate floral patterns. A tingle of recognition pricked at her memory. This box seemed familiar, as if she had seen it in her grandmother's hands. "Hey, look at this!" June called out, excitement bubbling up again. She brushed away the dust and gently pulled the box into the light. "Do you think it could be in there?" Carl asked, peering over her shoulder. With shaking hands, June lifted the lid. Inside, nestled within a layer of faded green velvet, lay a delicate silver charm. It gleamed faintly, catching the light of the flashlight like a distant star. June's breath caught in her throat. This had to be the heirloom the woman had mentioned. "Whoa," Mia whispered, her eyes wide. "That's beautiful." June picked it up, feeling its weight. There was something almost magical about it, a connection to her past, her grandmother. "I can't believe we found it," she murmured. But as she held the charm, a chill washed over her. What did it mean? What stories were intertwined with this piece of silver? "What's wrong?" Mia asked, sensing the shift in June's energy. "I don't know," June said, her voice trembling slightly. "It just feels heavy. Like it has a history I'm not sure I'm ready for." With the charm cradled in her palm, June realized that uncovering this heirloom would not just be a whimsical adventure. It could shake the very foundations of her understanding of her family, her diner, and the community they had called home. What had they awakened by opening this box? As she stared at the charm, a new question began to form in her mind. Was this heirloom a blessing, or could it be a curse? June looked at her friends, their eager faces awaiting her next move. The weight of the choice ahead of her settled in her chest. Unsure of what tomorrow would bring, she wondered if she was prepared to face whatever secrets lay ahead, because now, with the charm in her possession, a new journey had begun. But would it lead to fortune or misfortune? June sat there, the charm glimmering in her palm, as turbulent thoughts swirled around her. What if it truly held secrets? What if it connected her family to stories long buried, to whispers of the past that could reshape everything she believed? Mia's hand touched June's arm softly, bringing her back into the moment. "June, maybe we should find out more about it. Your grandma, she loved this kind of stuff. We can dig into the history." "I know," June replied, her voice low. "But what if the stories are painful? What if something dark lurks behind this charm?" Carl, still peering curiously at the charm, shrugged. "Anything could be a blessing or a curse, right? It's about what we decide to do with it." June nodded slowly. They all wanted to believe that light could emerge from darkness, but the uncertainty lingered like the scent of old wood. "Okay, let us look for any clues about it," she finally declared, her heart echoed with resolve. She felt a flicker of excitement through the fear. Together, they methodically began to search through the attic. Dust floated in the air as they opened yet more boxes, revealing an assortment of forgotten treasures: old cookbooks, a typewriter, even a collection of postcards from locations long since faded from memory. Suddenly, just as Carl moved a pile of books, a colorful envelope slipped to the floor. June leaned down to pick it up, noticing the elegant handwriting that adorned the front. A rush of nostalgia swept over her. It looked just like the letters her grandma used to write. Carefully, she opened it and began to read aloud. "Dearest Clara, it's time you know about our family's legacy. The charm you have in your possession is more than just metal, it holds within it the stories of the women before you." Her voice wavered, heart racing with every word. "Oh my gosh, it's about my grandma." Mia leaned in closer, wide-eyed. "Keep reading." "And those who chose to wear it carry the weight of their choices," June continued. "We must never forget the past. It's where our strength comes from." Carl shifted uneasily. "That sounds serious." "Listen to this," June pressed on, her hands trembling with anticipation. "It talks about a dark burden and a light of truth connected to the charm." "What does that even mean?" Mia asked, a mix of fear and curiosity crossing her features. "I don't know," June admitted, feeling the walls of the attic close in. "It sounds like there might be more to this heirloom than I thought. We need to find out everything." Taking a deep breath, she placed the charm back in the box and closed the lid gently as if it were a sleeping child. "Okay, there has to be more information. I want to talk to Grandma's friends, those who knew her best. There might be pieces to this puzzle." Mia nodded, urgency lighting up her eyes. "Tomorrow, we go to the community center. I heard they're having a gathering for the old folks." A perfect chance to ask around. As they descended from the attic, June felt a mix of apprehension and thrill. Uncovering these mysteries could change everything. Would they unlock answers, or would it expose wounds that were better off sealed? Once back in the diner's familiar glow, laughter and chatter wrapped around them, but June felt disconnected. Her heart beat fiercely in her chest, resonating with the weight of the charm's history. That night, as she curled up in bed, she couldn't shake the feeling that tomorrow would unearth more than just stories. She would not just find answers about the heirloom, she would discover who she truly was in the process. With the charm nestled beneath her pillow, she closed her eyes, hoping that as the night passed, it would whisper the truths she sought. And as she drifted off, one final thought echoed in her mind: would diving into her family's past strengthen her spirit or shake her foundations? The sun shone weakly through June's window as she awoke, its fingers casting soft light across the room. She lay there for a moment, the warmth contrasting with the anxiety that pinned her down. The charm, its presence lingered like an echo of a forgotten song. Today was the day. After a quick breakfast, she joined Mia and Carl at the diner's entrance, their faces a mix of eagerness and apprehension. June had tossed and turned all night, her dreams swirling with visions of her ancestors, their faces questioning, guiding her towards something she couldn't yet grasp. "Ready?" Mia's voice broke the spell of silence. June nodded, though her heart fluttered nervously in her chest. As they made their way to the community center, the town buzzed with life. The sounds of laughter and conversation flowed around them like a comforting blanket. But beneath that layer of familiarity, a thread of tension pulsed in June's veins. Questions spun in her mind like a top. What would she learn? What if the charm's story held more than she anticipated? Upon arriving, they were greeted by familiar faces, neighbors and elders who had shared stories of the town's history. June's pulse quickened as she caught sight of Mrs. Gonzalez, an old friend of her grandma Clara, seated at a table decorated with vibrant flowers. "June." "Mia." "Carl." Mrs. Gonzalez waved them over, her voice warm, full of joy. "It's so good to see you all. Come, join us." Mia and Carl settled beside her as June approached, a mix of excitement and dread twisting in her stomach. "Mrs. Gonzalez, can I ask you something about my grandma?" June felt the words tumble out. "Of course, dear." "Clara was a remarkable woman," she replied, her eyes sparkling with memory. June took a deep breath. "I found something of hers, a charm. It talked about our family's legacy. What can you tell me about it? Mrs. Gonzalez's expression softened, and for a moment, she stared into the distance as if lost in thought. Ah, Clara's charm, it was passed down from her mother. A symbol of strength, but also a reminder of choices, some light, and some dark. She carried it as a badge of honor through difficult times. June felt the weight of her words. It wasn't just a trinket, it was a testament to resilience. But what did it mean about a dark burden? Mrs. Gonzalez leaned in, her voice lowering. There were secrets, dear. Your grandma faced hardships that shaped her life. It's important to remember those stories, even when they are painful. June's heart raced. Did she ever talk about them? Only to those she trusted. Sometimes, silence is protective. Mrs. Gonzalez's gaze shifted to the charm June had hidden in her pocket. But your grandmother believed that facing the truth brought liberation. You have that choice, my dear. A chill ran down June's spine. She had more questions, but a sudden commotion drew her attention. A group of elderly women laughed loudly, sharing stories, their laughter ringing with memories. Was the truth buried among their shared laughter and whispers? At that moment, Carl tapped June's arm. Hey, I think I saw Mrs. Harris. She might know something too. Let us go, June urged, feeling the urgency pulse through her. They made their way to Mrs. Harris, her sunken cheeks lifting into a smile as they approached. As June opened her mouth to speak, the air felt thick with anticipation. Would this conversation lead her closer to understanding the legacy that had been woven into her family's fabric? June, darling, Mrs. Harris began, her voice soft and nostalgic. Did you know your grandma had a secret treasure? June's breath hitched. This was that the revelation could hold the key to everything. What kind of treasure? She asked, her eyes wide with anticipation, and just as Mrs. Harris opened her mouth to answer, the din of laughter and chatter faded away, leaving June frozen in place, her heart pounding with both fear and hope. What lay ahead? What more would she discover about her family, the charm, and herself? The chatter at the community center felt like a distant echo as June leaned in closer, hanging on Mrs. Harris's every word. The anticipation simmered around her, an electric charge building in the air. A treasure? June repeated, her voice barely above a whisper. What kind of treasure are you talking about? Mrs. Harris's eyes twinkled, reflecting memories long cherished. Your grandmother had a hidden collection, pieces she believed were too precious to let the world see. They held her dreams and sorrows. She felt they were meant for a time when the family needed them most. June's heart raced. This treasure could change everything, maybe even save the diner. Where are they? Do you know if they're still? Some say they're hidden within the very walls of that diner, just waiting for the right person to find them, Mrs. Harris replied, her voice laced with both adventure and caution. But be careful, dear. Secrets have a way of revealing both light and darkness. Carl's eyes widened. We've been digging through the attic. What if we look again? Exactly, June said, determination surging within her. If Grandma Clara left something behind, we need to find it. This could be the key to securing our future. Mia chimed in, her voice steady. Let us split up and ask around, see if anyone remembers more about the treasure's whereabouts. Together, we can piece it together. As they began to break away and gather more intel, a sense of purpose fueled June's every step. The community center pulsated with life, laughter cascading around her, a stark reminder of the very legacy she fought to preserve. With every familiar face she approached, a story unfolded, tales of love, loss, resilience, all woven through the fabric of that old diner. Each encounter wrapped around her heart like a comforting blanket, reinforcing why the diner mattered so much. Hours passed, but it felt like a whirlwind. A former patron mentioned a cellar beneath the diner that was once used to store supplies. Many folks forgot about it, he said, nodding knowingly. Could be your answer. The idea felt like a spark igniting within her as June raced back to Mia and Carl, her heart pounding like a drum. There's a cellar. We need to check it out. Without hesitation, the group made their way to the diner, the winter sun casting long shadows across the familiar path. The heavy wooden door creaked open, the air thick with the scent of grease and sacred memories. June felt an energy course through her. This was more than just a restaurant, it was a sanctuary of hope. Together, they journeyed down the staircase leading to the forgotten cellar. The air grew cooler, and the faint mustiness hinted at lost stories waiting to be told. With a flashlight illuminating the way, June felt butterflies flutter in her stomach, anticipation tinged with anxiety. As they stepped inside, boxes and forgotten memories lay scattered around, and at that moment, it all clicked into place. This wasn't just about financial salvation, this was about reconnecting with her past, embracing the struggles, and celebrating the victories of those who came before her. June began sifting through the boxes, revealing old photo albums, vintage kitchenware, and then, tucked between layers of dust and time, a beautifully crafted wooden chest. Its craftsmanship was exquisite, and for a moment, everything else faded away. "Is this it?" Carl asked, awe painted across his features. Could this be what Grandma Clara left behind? June's hand shook as she reached for the latch. With a gentle touch, she lifted the lid, revealing a collection of shimmering jewelry, delicate charms, and framed letters, all wrapped in a soft cloth that smelled faintly of lavender. Each piece a whisper of hope, love, and dreams woven through time. Tears pricked June's eyes as she fished out the elegant heirloom necklace she had seen on Mia. The one that had ignited their journey together. "I can't believe it's all here," she whispered, her heart swelling. "This could change everything," Mia said, a smile breaking across her face. "It really could." June looked up at her friends, and in that moment, an overwhelming sense of clarity washed over her. All the doubts and fears faded into the background. They had not just found treasure, they had unearthed a legacy steeped in courage and love, a legacy that had always been worth fighting for. As they gathered around the chest, sharing stories and laughter, Grandma June realized something profound. This wasn't just about saving the diner. It was about reviving the spirit of family and community, where every person mattered, every story counted. With the future before her, Grandma June embraced not just the treasures but the journey ahead. "Let us honor all of these gifts by bringing this diner to life again. We have each other, and together, we can change the narrative." The weight of the charm shifted in her pocket, a reminder that their history would continue to guide them. With renewed hope, they stepped back into the diner, ready to weave the next chapters of their collective story. And as she gazed out at the familiar faces in the diner, June couldn't help but smile. The light of possibility glinted in her eyes, and one truth resounded within her heart: family and community were the true treasures, and together, they could create a legacy far more valuable than gold. Now, the time had come for all of you to join this journey. You need to subscribe now to witness more extraordinary transformations. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now for more inspiring stories, share your thoughts and feelings about this heartwarming ending in the comments below, and don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to experience this transformation. Your support means the world. Let us continue to build this beautiful community together.